Watch as Trump tries to lie about Biden and Harris's response to the hurricane, and Laura Ingraham, of all people, on Fox, keeps correcting him.
Yet they're offering people $750
for immediate needs.
For the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen. But she shouldn't be there anyway. She should be, I would say, North Carolina is bad, is so bad. And
she was there today for 3 hours, I believe, Kamala Harris.
That was so fun to watch. But Trump and his people are going to lie. Here's Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, just making stuff up.
And we're really showing up when the federal government is not. President Trump is doing more than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who spent $1 billion from FEMA on illegal immigrant housing, transportation, prepaid debit cards, and food. And so now, according to Secretary Mayorkas, there's not enough money to brace for hurricane season. And that's a dereliction of duty by our federal government. These state governments, local officials, President Trump received 2 local briefings in Georgia last week. I was with him. He asked great questions. They're doing this on their own, and they have very little help from the federal government. And it's just a travesty.
No, Trump is not doing more than Biden and Harris and the federal government. And by the way, isn't Donald Trump a billionaire? Maybe he should chip in and help out these folks a little bit, right? And by the way, wasn't he also the guy who went down, I think, to Puerto Rico when there was a natural disaster there and he was just throwing paper towels out like that? No, he is not doing more than Biden and Harris. Don't lie to us straight to our face. But that's what they do. And also, these people, they just twist and turn like Marco Rubio. Listen to this.
And Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, who on Friday was tweeting about the fake jobs report, sowing doubt about the government statistics. Today, he is imploring his constituents to believe the government forecasts, to take the government information seriously, to believe the government data. What a difference 3 days makes from Marco Rubio. And he's supposed to be one of the more responsible ones.
So Rubio was putting doubt into the jobs report that came from the government, but then once the disaster happened, he goes, listen to the government. So these guys are squirmy. Just like Ron DeSantis, who went on Sean Hannity and was talking about Kamala Harris, saying that she was politicizing the storm, when in reality, the word was that DeSantis was not taking calls from the White House when they were trying to reach him. So which one is it, Ron?
She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly. And so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games.
By the way, it was DeSantis who was politicizing this whole thing because vice presidents actually do call during times of natural disasters. Watch this clip.
I worked for Vice President Pence, and anytime there was a major natural disaster, he would also be calling governors, members of Congress in the areas that were affected. It's not just the president. So, yes, she's a candidate, but it's also an entirely appropriate thing for the Vice President of the United States to be doing. And it's a moment for him to rise to the occasion of leadership and show, hurricanes don't choose Republicans or Democrats. This is going to be a whole of government effort. And I would just also note that, especially North Carolina, and we don't even know what damage Milton is going to cause, there is going to be years of rebuilding. There's going to need to be congressional supplementals to pay for this. Those are things that are done on a bipartisan basis. And Donald Trump stoking fear, lying about it now, doesn't exactly bode well for if he is to be reelected, that he's going to assist those areas and that he's not going to let politics affect it. And he's going to work across the aisle to get people what they actually need.
There you have it. She used to work with Mike Pence, and she said something that was very smart. She said that hurricanes and disasters don't choose Republicans and Democrats. We're supposed to come together and work together. But the right, including Donald Trump, have decided to politicize this thing. Trump right away started attacking, was attacking the Biden response, saying that, they're giving you $750 and that's it. FEMA's not here. They don't have the money. They don't care. They're not calling, all of that stuff. And he was trying to spread the rumor that Biden didn't care because some of the storms were in Republican states. And then we come to find out after that some of the people that used to work under Trump said, actually, Donald Trump had thought about that when there was natural disasters in California. There was fires in California, and the California needed some federal assistance, and Donald Trump wanted to hold back that federal assistance because he said it's a Democratic state. And then his staff had to go and show him how many people voted for him in deeply red Orange County, California, for him to go, oh, there's Republicans? Okay, then go ahead and send assistance. So it's, anything Donald Trump accuses anybody of doing, that means he's doing it. If it's something that's bad, he's doing it. And he did do it. And he's a small thinker. And DeSantis, too, trying to politicize it by saying, I don't want to talk to Kamala. Well, she's the vice president. She's trying to help out. We should all look past the politics of it and come together. That $750 that a lot of people on the right started criticizing right away. Oh, you're just giving us $750 for this disaster? That's all we get? No, that was the initial money that was emergency money that was given to people just to buy food and diapers and whatever else they needed to get through. And the dangers of spreading these rumors that that's all the federal government's giving you and you get upset is that if some people believe that that's all they're getting, they're not going to apply for the other FEMA funds that are available to them as the disaster goes away and you got to start rebuilding. And by the way, a lot of these places where these hurricanes have been happening, they're not insured because of climate change. These places did not expect hurricanes like this. So it's one thing on top of the next, and then you get Bozo Trump coming in the middle and spreading lies. You get people on the right spreading lies. You get Marjorie Taylor Greene actually saying that the government is controlling these storms and it's a political move. This is the October surprise. They're throwing out hurricanes. I mean, it's insane. That she's a member of Congress is insane. The fact that Donald Trump is running for president and people take him seriously is insane. The fact that Ron DeSantis is trying to say that he's a good leader and trying to politicize the situation is insane. The whole idea is we got to come together. We got to help out. There's people that are suffering. Again, right, left, who cares? This is a natural disaster. If we can't get together against and get through a natural disaster, then what can we get together for? I mean, we saw the division that we had going through COVID with everybody fighting rather than coming together and figuring out solutions. And now here we go with a natural disaster. You got a hurricane, and they're making up rumors, folks. They're making up rumors, and they're trying to politicize it, and they're trying to win points. And Donald Trump is saying, I handled it better. I would handle it better. No, you wouldn't. You don't handle anything better. You've bankrupted several companies. You've cheated on several wives. You've tried to overthrow the government. You tried to overthrow the government January 6th. You're telling me that you're gonna be able to take care of a natural disaster better when you couldn't even, admit that you lost the election? How about the way you messed up COVID? I mean, remember, you guys just go Google this stuff. I mean, when COVID came, early on in COVID, he was saying, oh, no, it's not a big deal. Once the weather gets warmer, it's just gonna go away. And then behind closed doors, there's audio of him talking to Bob Woodward and saying, I know this thing is serious. This is COVID. So this is the same guy that was dealing with that, the way he dealt with it. This is the same guy who almost got rid of democracy. This is the same guy who's bumbled his way through many, many things, weakened NATO, took those tariffs. He wants to add tariffs now, all these tariffs, when anybody with the ability to Google can Google what would all these Donald Trump tariffs do to us. They would raise inflation. What would deporting 11 million undocumented people do to us? It would raise prices and inflation because those people are working on the farms where the fruits are picked. Those people are helping the food get to you. Those people are working. They're part of our economy. And yet he just says stuff. So when a hurricane hits, he tries to take advantage of it. I would have handled it better. Biden's not handling it good. Biden is doing a great job. He's got FEMA there. He's got he's making statements. He's sending out messages for people to please stop listening to the misinformation. By the way, any short funding of FEMA, please go look this up. A lot of Republicans voted against more funding for FEMA because maybe they don't believe that climate change is real. I don't know. I don't know why, but they voted against it. And then we end up here. Similar to how Donald Trump disbanded the pandemic. Obama had put together this pandemic team that was supposed to be available if a pandemic hit, and Trump disbanded it. So I don't know why. I'm not here to explain that. That's maybe a psychologist can explain why they do these things. But they tend to want to make stuff up, and they tend to want to blame people like Kamala and Joe Biden, when the truth is they're doing their best, folks. They really are. And, it's a disaster. We should come together, and we should not. If anything, Trump should have called Biden and said, how can I help? He should have called Kamala and said, how can I help? That shows some statesmanship. That shows, oh, wow, this person is willing to cross the political lines to help those that are in need. The same way when there was an attempt on Trump's life, Biden called him. Biden called him and said, hey, I'm happy to hear all right. But that's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an egomaniac. He's a megalomaniac, and he's not a good leader. Please, folks, please make sure you're registered to vote, and don't vote for that guy. Please. He's going to flush our country down the toilet. Imagine if you're in a blue state and a natural disaster hits, he won't send help. That's the guy that he is. Anyway, folks, my name is Maz Jobrani. I'm a comedian. I'm on tour, so come check me out. Go to mazjobrani.com, find a date, come out, let's have a laugh, or watch my special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. If you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. Bye.